Hi everybody, my name is Tori. I work at Be The Match. We are the National Marrow Donor Registry. I'm at the headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about this incredible organization, how it works, why it matters, what this is all about. Forget everything that you've ever heard about marrow donation, because most of it is not accurate and is scaring people. And it's really important that we have accurate information, so I'm very grateful that you're watching this video. There are 14,000 people searching for an unrelated donor, and that's what Be The Match is. We are the National Registry of Unrelated Donors who are standing by ready to say yes if our marrow is the medicine that could cure somebody's cancer. 80% of the time people donate stem cells at a blood center. 80% of the time. You get medicine for 5 days. It stimulates the production of the stem cells that make the blood. On day 5, you donate stem cells, and after that, you're back to normal. 20% of the patients searching the registry are children, and they need marrow. So 20% of the time, people will donate marrow. They will not feel anything during the process. You would not get your tonsils out without sedation. There is no screaming involved whatsoever. We will take liquid marrow from your hips, from your butt bone. And afterwards you will feel sore like you fell on the ice or ran a marathon without training, bruised for a few days, not broken for a few months. And you'll say, "Doc, do you have some drugs for me?" And he's gonna say, "Yes, I do." And you're gonna go home, watch movies, and that's it. Between 20 and 34% of people with diverse ancestry do not have a match on the registry. It doesn't mean there's not a match, it just means the person hasn't signed up yet. So that's the big thing, is to make sure that people understand how this works, how easy it is, and how extraordinarily important it is, because I'm positive, I know for a fact that there are people who are hearing this who are thinking right now, and I'm looking at you, that I could do that. That's something I could definitely do. That's something that I would be happy to do, because yes, I don't even need to know all of the details. I would love to cure somebody's cancer. I would love to cure somebody's cancer. I was at Washington State University a few months ago, and I met a young man. He said, "I donated in January." And I said, "Oh, you registered in January?" He goes, No, I registered 3 years ago. I donated in January." And I said, "Oh my gosh, tell me." And he said, "She's 12 years old. She's out of the hospital. She's doing great." And I cover Washington State. The man who covers Utah, 3 years ago, he got a stem cell transplant. 5 months ago, he met his donor. He's holding this huge sign that said, "Ambrose saved my life." And standing next to him is this man holding this huge sign that said, "I'm Ambrose." And that's what this is. The man's name is John. He's got 5 children. He had said goodbye to everybody, and then Ambrose came up as a match. Tissue types are inherited, so you are most likely to match somebody with very similar ancestry. 70% of people don't match their brothers and sisters. There's a little marker on every cell in your body that says, "This is my body, I belong in this body," and that's what we're matching. So if I were to donate marrow to you, you would get my blood type. You would get my allergies, because your whole immune system would be rebuilt, because your immune system is making you sick. What we're doing today is reading the information, having all our questions answered, and then we will double check to see if we are eligible. If somebody is taking insulin, for example, they would not be able to join the registry. If somebody's had a stroke, hepatitis B or C, certain autoimmune diseases would prevent somebody from being able to join. Other autoimmune diseases are fine. So we have a list that somebody can refer to. We don't ask about sex, drugs, rock and roll, or travel. So a lot of things that would prohibit people from donating blood do not even come up. We don't even ask about it. If somebody's healthy, if somebody's at risk for HIV and they don't have HIV, we welcome them with open arms. So that's a really important thing. If you know people who would be interested in this, who might not have joined the registry because they were at risk and would not be able to be, they wouldn't qualify for blood, they would definitely qualify for this as long as they are healthy and willing. So we would be signing consents, swabbing a cheek, and then you wait. Be The Match is people who are just waiting. There's a 1 in 40 chance that you would be top 5 for a specific patient. We would call and say, "Thank you so much for doing the Q-tip. You are a potential match. Would you be willing to do a blood sample?" And you would say, and I would say, "Yes." And the Be The Match would call and say, "Perfect. Take this paper, go to this place, we'll let you know." And we'll either call back and say there was a closer match, you're going back on the registry until you turn 61, or would say, "Oh my gosh, it's you, you're the match." And I would say, "I would love to cure somebody's cancer. I've been waiting for this call." And then they would say, "There's a 2-year-old boy with leukemia, or a 28-year-old man with sickle cell anemia, or a 47-year-old man with aplastic anemia, or Hodgkin's lymphoma," or whatever. And then we would call that family and say, "A 52-year-old woman just said yes, you now have a donor." There are people on the registry who have been waiting for donors who do not have a match. Every day they are hoping and checking, and for the miracle that would be somebody who is their perfect match swabbing their cheek. So it is possible that when you register, you are going to be the answer to a family's prayers and every single person who loves that patient. And it is heart-wrenching when people don't find matches, because if somebody gets to the point and they need a marrow transplant and they don't get one, they won't survive. So it's extraordinarily important that if you are not feeling that this is the right thing for you, please do not sign up. Trust me when I'm telling you this. There is zero pressure to sign up, because Be the Match is people who are ready to go. We ask if you can commit to 20 to 30 hours, and that's broken up into smaller chunks. And so it's not going to be 20 to 30 hours in a week, and it's not probably going to be 20, 30 hours right away, unless the person is desperate, which is another situation. But we will break it up into smaller chunks, so you would have the conversation about, are you willing to donate? Are you ready to move forward? Yes. And then, okay, this is the age of the patient. This is the diagnosis. We will be doing stem cells, or we'll be doing marrow. And that's determined by the patient's doctor. We don't decide, oh, I'll do it this way or I'll do it that way. We just are told this is what the patient needs. And then we say, perfect, I'm ready to go, whatever that is. And then after that, you get a full physical. And so we make sure that you're extremely healthy. And then that all checks out. And then you would actually donate. And so when you have the 20 to 30 hours, it's broken up into little chunks. And then that's it. We take 1 to 5% of your marrow, so your immune system stays really strong. It'd be like donating your hair and then growing your hair back. What else am I forgetting? What other questions do people ask? You don't fly to where the patient is. You actually would go to the nearest donor center, and there would be a courier who would bring your marrow or stem cells to the patient. It is possible to meet the patient. 50% of the transplants stay in the United States, and 50% of them go overseas. And different countries have different amounts of time between when the donation is and when people can meet. There are such beautiful stories. There's this young lady who received a transplant when she was 12 years old, and she invited her donor to her wedding. And they had the dad-daughter dance, and then they had the dad-daughter dance. I know a woman who had her donor be her maid of honor, because you have this incredible relationship with this person who saved your life. And I mean, how do you thank somebody for saving your life? How does the family? And I mean, I've talked to these parents who say it's such a helpless feeling because, my little baby needed marrow and nobody in our family could help, and we are just like waiting and waiting and waiting. So there's a chance that when you join the registry, you will be a perfect match for somebody who's already waiting. There's also a chance that you're going to join the registry and nobody is your type, but you're going to be waiting on the registry, and somebody who gets diagnosed comes in and is looking for a match, and they will have a match right away. So in both situations, you will be like incredibly important to a family who is relying on the kindness of strangers to provide the marrow. Next steps are basically is you gather the information. You're going to read some flyers. You're going to review all of the criteria. You're going to sign a consent, swab your cheek, and then all of the consents and forms will come back to me. I will mail them in. Well, I'll mail them here. I'm mailing them to this building. It's really exciting to be in this building. And then you are on the registry. Please spread the word. You will have an online sign-up link that the person who's showing you this video will show you, and it will have your code on it. So it'll be join.bethematch.org/whatever your code is. And so then people can sign up online, so you can share it with your cousin in Florida or your friend in New Jersey. If you know anybody 18 to 44 who would be interested in saving a life, and think about it just for a minute, because there are people, if you take a second and think, you'll be able to think of people who would love to do this just who have no idea how. So that's it. There is a cure for cancer, and it could be you. And so I really appreciate you taking the time. Feel free to shoot me an email. That will also be in all the information that you get, and have a great day.